I've always been a fan of action RPG games, so when Zenless Zone Zero launched in 2024, of course I had to check it out, and I'm so glad I did. It ended up becoming one of my absolute favorite games. The animations are super fun and crazy, and so are the character designs and the writing. It also has this awesome retro tech aesthetic with old school arcades, VHS tapes and CRT TVs. It was exactly up my alley. As the protagonist, you live on the second floor of a video rental store that you run with your sister, or brother, depending on which of them you choose to play as. It's located on a fun and trendy street in the city of New Eridu. But the video rental store is only a front. Secretly, you and your sibling work as proxies. Proxies are remote navigators for holo expeditions. But what are holos? Well, to put it pretty shortly and simply, holos are these big black spheres that can spontaneously appear, swallowing entire city blocks and warping space and time. They also generate a toxic supernatural energy called ether, and spawn monsters called ethereals. Humans can enter a holo, but the longer they stay, the more ether corruption builds up in their bodies. Eventually, if the corruption builds too far, they will turn into ethereals themselves. So why would anyone want to enter a holo, you might ask? Well, why does anyone do anything? For money, of course. Ether is extremely valuable. It's New Eridu's prime energy source and powers most of the city's technology. And the only place to get it, you guessed right, from the inside of holos. And so a whole new super profitable industry was born, which I feel like is one of the most realistic parts of the game's world, to be honest. If huge, anomalous, monster-infested spheres started spawning around our cities, we would absolutely find a way to profit from it. That's just part of the human spirit. And in New Eridu, everyone wants a slice of the pie. Big corporations, gangs, and freelancers all compete for holo contracts. And since holos can swallow parts of the city without warning, civilians often need rescuing as well, making rescue missions a major source of work for agents. But the holos cause structures within it to twist and corrupt, making it difficult to navigate. And that's where we come in. As the proxy, we have access to the Holo Deep Dive System, or HDD for short, a special technology that lets us remotely monitor and navigate agents inside the holos via these little chubby rabbit robots called Bang Boos. The first crew you recruit are the Cunning Hares. Nicole Demara, their money-hungry leader, always looking for ways to make a quick buck. Anby, a stoic and deadpan military girl who seems to contextualize everything through film references. And Billy Kid, a crazy and passionate android gunslinger. He loves arcade games and a TV show called Starlight Nights. Honestly, I fell in love with this crew right away. They're so much fun. And you get to hang out with them a lot in between missions as well. But proxies and the people they work with are not technically sanctioned by the government of New Eridu. They operate within a grey zone at best. But that doesn't stop most civilians from hiring proxies to assist when people, precious items, or pets go missing inside holos. Holos are dangerous places, but not just due to ether corruption and ethereals. Turns out dangerous places that aren't easy to monitor are prime locations for operating outside of the law. And so our protagonist and their agents frequently have to deal with bad guys that try to take advantage of holos for their own shady dealings. The world of Zenless Zone Zero did confuse me a bit, however. They have advanced AI robots like the Bang Boos, but they still use VHS tapes? Well, it turns out there's actually a reason for that. It's not just aesthetics. It has to do with ether corruption. Essentially, the more complex and sophisticated a piece of technology is, the more vulnerable it appears to be to ether interference. Meanwhile, simple, analog, mechanical tech seems to handle the corruption more or less fine under most circumstances. A vinyl record and a needle is a much harder thing to corrupt than a solid-state hard drive. Society has been forced to rely on much older technology. And honestly, I kind of like that they have an explanation for that. But then, what's with all those Bang Boos? They're definitely not retro, and they seem more or less entirely immune to ether corruption. It's possible they were engineered specifically to be ether resistant. Or maybe they're powered by ether themselves. But where do all the holos come from? During a certain mission, we visit a military base camp called Scott Outpost. And that's when we get to see it for the first time. Holo Zero. A gargantuan holo looming in the distance. It was a really striking moment for me. There I stood, with this bustling military camp full of soldiers and researchers. And then right there on the horizon was a massive black sphere. The Hollow Zero destroyed an entire civilization and swallowed up all of old Eridu. But what caused it? And why are more and more hollows appearing? Well, why don't you play Zenless Zone Zero to find out? The story has come so far and there's so much more to explore. In Zenless Zone Zero 2.8 we have 2 all-new characters. Promeia, a quiet executioner and judge for the Krampus Compliance Authority. She looks so cool. Promeia is an anomaly ice damage dealer. She specializes in stacking abnormal status effects and triggering heavy ice anomaly damage. And then there's the long-awaited S-rank version of Billy Kid, Starlight Billy. Billy has always been obsessed with the in-universe superhero series Starlight Knights. He frequently mentions it, posing dramatically and basically lives according to its values. And Starlight Billy is the culmination of that identity. A new empowered form of Billy, a true Starlight Knight. And he even has a super awesome transformation scene. On the field, he's an ultra-aggressive DPS built around motorcycle combat, spinning attacks and constant pressure. He's a physical rupture character, so a ton of his damage ignores enemy defense through sheer damage. Go try out both new characters right now. Zenless Zone Zero is available completely for free, and you can use my link in the description. Woof!